Videocast number 2. Today is Friday, January 25th. This is Max, and with me here is Charlie.
Hello.
And Corey.
Hey.
Back by popular demand.
Nice. Though we missed last week. We kind of thought it'd be better to just skip a week instead of try to come up with filler. Even though...
Unlike all the previous weeks.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, maybe
That's our New Year's resolution.
Yes.
No more filler podcast.
Exactly.
I did suggest you guys could do a podcast that celebrated me in all my glory, but you guys kind of...
yeah, we were busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about hives. And specifically, we're going to talk about how hives worked in Natural Section 1, in case you don't know or don't remember, and how they're going to work in NS2. Or I should say, how we hope they're going to work, or how we are starting to think they're going to work. So in NS1, the aliens spawned around hives, and basically the idea originally was we were going to have the hive actually have the ovipositor, as Max calls it, and lay eggs, right?
Correct,
kind of like
yeah.
from Aliens, pretty much a rip-off from Aliens.
Yeah. Well, you can see that in this original concept. On the bottom, there's the ovipositor.
Right, which you all know
appendage.
and love.
And the eggs.
And the eggs. And the eggs made it into the game, and the ovipositor did, obviously, but it never actually matched up, and we never actually had aliens spawn as eggs. They just turned into eggs when they morphed between life forms. And
the ovipositor had an animation every time an alien would spawn, though, right?
Right.
So it kind of made an animation like it was laying an egg, even though no egg would actually...
But the egg was nowhere near the vent or whatever. We had some other ideas for NS1, which we're going to try to get into NS2, and we also have some new ones.
As we discussed, I think we discussed it in the other podcast that we showed the hive, but it was originally meant to have emit steam and
glowies.
have glowies flying around it, and none of those actually made it in.
Yeah.
But we're hoping for NS2 to actually get some of that stuff in.
And wait, didn't we want that big orange center to glow too? I feel like that was something that we talked about, or you had said do some special rendering stuff on it. Yeah.
Bioluminescent.
Translucent.
Ovipositor.
So that's how it worked in NS1. For NS2, Corey and I talked, and we kind of revisited some of those original ideas.
Yeah, so this is the new concept. Obviously, you can see it bears a lot of resemblance to the original, but kind of improving on designs both for the gameplay that we've discussed for NS2, as well as just a general overall aesthetic design to it. Trying to give it a little more interest in some areas. I think along the top there...
it looks like on the back side there's a lot more detail.
Yeah. Some of the along the back side there is actually where the ovipositor. I can't pronounce that word, but it still retains that, but it's kind of become like a vestigial limb. Yeah. It's no longer in use, so after years of evolution, it's sort of kind of withered up.
No longer needed. But it's still there, and the flaps have kind of opened up on the back, which is sort of the new vent flaps for where the mist and steam kind of emit from, which hopefully we can get that into this version of NS. Yep. Right, Max?
Yes.
Dang. Actually, I think that's really cool because most new players to the game, new players to NS won't know about that, but anyone who played the first one will see that shriveled up thing, and they'll remember, I remember how that worked in NS. And our whole idea is that for NS2 is that some time has passed, so both sides have evolved a bit. So that actually makes sense. That's a nice allusion to the whole idea that the aliens have evolved in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you can see the tentacles on the front have elongated, and this, we can actually talk about it in a few minutes here. There's some particular reasons for that. You can also see in the image, as we so fondly refer to them as glowies.
It only took 6 or 7 years.
So
of course, it's not in
you visualized what those could look like, kind of a cross between sort of an insect jellyfish type of look, but those would be sort of floating around the hive. They would randomly float down and create the eggs. So basically these are sort of the caterpillars that become the butterflies. Essentially, they would randomly land. So each hive room would have a bunch of eggs. We're going back to the egg idea again, correct? Yeah.
Yep. We think so.
We think so. So,
grain of salt, but
so there'd be, say 10, 15 eggs in a room. Not all of them actually with an alien that's spawning from them. So it kind of leaves it a little, the Marines are a little uncertain where the next alien's going to spawn from. And then when that amount of eggs drops below a certain amount, these floaties would randomly
find a surface to land on
and morph into an egg, which would then turn into an alien potentially.
I think it'd just be really cool to walk into a hive room as a Marine.
I was pretty lukewarm on this glowy idea until I saw this image.
Oh.
And the glowies that Corey did were much cooler than I ever imagined, based on you talking about glowies.
Right.
Like mist only is going to go so far in transforming a room. Mist
Right.
infestation in transforming a room from like a man-made marine construction into like this otherworldly.
Really want to make it feel like
jungle.
an alien habitat,
Yeah. / jungle bog area.
Right, exactly.
Like,
several ideas also we discussed were potentially having the hive not hanging from a ceiling, and that was an option we were exploring a bit. One of the main reasons being that we are potentially going to introduce an alien commander mode into NS2.
Actually, we already announced that we are.
It's
Yeah,
a
I
very
know.
popular.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Okay. I didn't know if you saw that.
It's still,
Okay. Oh, no, you're
whether
right.
if it works
You're
or
right.
not. I mean,
Yes,
it's
yes.
open to be taken out if it
That's true.
seems like a completely crappy decision on your part.
Sure.
So
Gotta try it first.
and a way for the aliens to basically, the Marine commander terminal is, the Marine can walk right up to it and pop inside of it. It's a little harder for a hive to be hanging up above, and how is the alien interfacing with it?
Like you have to jump up and hit his use key.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That'll be dumb.
So, but I was really kind of adamant about having these things still hanging from the ceiling. I felt it just gave them a much more impressive, majestic feeling. For the Marines to go into a room and looking up at this big glowing thing above you. So that's where the elongated tentacles come in. And
So cool.
the hive would start out with the tentacles hanging low, close to the ground. An alien would kind of walk over up to the tentacles, hit the use key or whatever to go into commander mode, and then there would be an animation of the tentacles opening and kind of wrapping around the alien, and the alien would just basically disappear, being absorbed up into the hive, and then the tentacles would play an animation where they retract up. So that way, it's also fairly obvious to the Marine players when they enter into the room and see the hive, whether there's an alien commander or not, because they could either see the tentacles are stretched down to the ground, or they're retracted up inside. So and I anticipate a lot of more. Hopefully, we can get a lot more idle animations in there this time around, where the tentacles are quivering and flexing, and the whole thing is moving subtly.
I think this concept came out so perfectly. Like, I don't think there's any chance that I'd want to see another concept. This is it, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm that good. What can I
You
say?
are. I mean, well, and NS obviously, so that helps a lot. And
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
like how much I want the glowies. So
Well, you got
knew
'em
that
now.
they couldn't be removed. So I guess that's it for the Hivecast, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.